Welcome, welcome. And Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
I think we're in 19.
Oh, that sounds better. Yeah, no, that's better.
Yeah, 15 is Lech Lecha, is what it was Lech Lecha.
Right. So let's not count on my brain, right? Forget that noise. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, we are in chapter 19. There it is, right? And we are talking about how the angels are with Lot, and the last thing we left was the angels were in his home, and all the people, all the men of the city of Sodom, young and old, just everyone came, all those men came, and this is what they did. They outside his house. Vayikra'u el Lot, and they called out to Lot. Vayomru lo, and they said to him, Ayeh ha'anashim, where are the men asher ba'u elecha halayla, who came to you tonight, this night? Hotzi'em elenu, bring them out to us, v'neid'a otam, that we may know them, that we may experience them, right? And we know that this word yada, right, when we talk about Adam knowing his wife, that it had to do, obviously, with sexual intercourse. So this is where we get the whole idea. You'll see Rashi says it quite explicitly, based on tradition. And here we go. Here we are. V'neid'a otam, and let us know them. B'mishkav zachur. We're talking about male intercourse, right? Homosexuality. Kamo asher lo yadu ish. And he says it's just in the next verse. It says, they have not known a man, referring to his daughters. We are getting into some really, really harsh and hard and very tough material in a moment, in terms of the suggestions and things like that. But the idea is, of course, not to have been intimate with another person. And we do use the word yada. And I suppose, intimacy has to do with a level of experiencing and knowing someone in a very different kind of way, a very intimate kind of way. So that's what they wanted from him. So put yourselves in his position. Here he has these people, and now we have some definition of the level of wickedness that they are discussing, okay, as to when the Bible says that the people of Sodom were wicked. Now, I feel compelled to emphasize something that I believe, and that is that the Torah is not condemning a person, from two people of the same gender loving each other and loving each other deeply. I believe that what the Torah has a problem with is the actual physical intimacy that we're talking about here, that it considers it to be something essentially selfish. And I realize that isn't going to make necessarily a lot of people happy, but I do believe that the Torah doesn't condemn something that we cannot necessarily control, which is falling in love with someone of the same gender. But on the other hand, the Torah does hold us responsible for actually committing those kind of acts of intimacy, of sexual intimacy. And that's what we're talking about here.
Well, my question would be, if the selfishness is due to the inability to have children through that type of intimacy, why wouldn't two women be equally condemned?
Right. And I think it has something to do with the level of physicality of the actual physical act where you're inserting something into someone else.
Well, of course, women do that.
Sorry to be so,
Okay, but I'm just saying women do that.
Well, apparently it's not on the same kind of level. It's not considered to be the same kind of level. All right.
Rabbi, I think Lot sinned.
Don't anticipate, Harlan. We're going to get to those parts. Okay, please. We will get to those parts, and I'm be happy to discuss it at that particular point. But we're
Yeah.
going to see. We're going to have one problem before another. We got another problem coming up, which may lead to that second problem that you're referring to. Lauren, I so appreciate your discussing this with me, and it's not like I feel like I'm standing on real, solid ground here. But I really feel that's because the Torah, by the way, also, of course, we know that adultery is in the Ten Commandments. That is in the Ten Commandments. And on that kind of level, the actual physical act is no different. It has to do with the belief that the Torah has that we are capable of controlling ourselves. And realize, and it doesn't have an attitude. Judaism doesn't have an attitude that the physical act of sexual intercourse is a bad thing per se. It does not, but it does limit it, and its position about this involves a lot of subtlety and stuff like that. So yeah, it's complicated, and it's not something that I speak of with a great deal of comfort, and it's part of the human condition that in some ways is also painful. We know, when it's tov vara, we know it's both good and it's evil. That's the possibility of evil from this. At any rate, we'll proceed. Okay. Vayetze alehem Lot hapetcha, and Lot went out to them at the doorway, at the opening, right? The opening of his house. V'hadelet, I think here the va could be but the door sagar acharav, he closed after himself. So again, you can visualize what's going on here. And I must say that in some ways, this was pretty gutsy on his part, because he's got a huge hostile crowd surrounding his house and demanding that he release his guests to them. And here he is going out after them. So again, Lot is a complicated person. He's not all bad and he's not all good, but in this particular case, I think he's pretty courageous. Okay, so let's keep going. Vayomar, and he said, Alna achai, please, my brothers, tareu, alna achai tareu, please do not act wickedly. And he's asking them respectfully and politely. I don't think there are any Rashis on this until we get to the next verse. Okay, let's keep going. Look, this is a verse that is just hugely problematic. He says, see here, I have shtei vanot, 2 daughters, asher lo yadu ish, who have not, literally it says, have experienced or known a man. In other words, it's what we discussed beforehand, right? They've never been intimate with a man. Utzia na etem, please let me bring them out, alechem, to you. Look at this, it's awful. Vasulahem, and do to them, katov be'enechem, as is good in your eyes. Rak la'anashim ha'el, but to these men, al tasu davar, do not do a thing. Ki alkain, because for this reason, ba'u b'tzel korati, they have come under literally the shadow of my beam. So this is just, how do you deal with this?
It's fraught with so much stuff. I
know it is.
The children about his daughters belong to him. 1.
Yes.
2, he can hire them out to save somebody else's life. And 3, raping women is less gross or less
disgusting.
I don't even know the word I want to say
accepted
than raping a man.
Than consensual male sex,
Yes.
adult male sex.
Right.
Why didn't Lot believe in the angels? The angels would have protected him.
Again, they haven't said anything to him yet, okay? Harlan, the angels have done nothing yet. They will, okay? But how are we supposed to look at Lot? How are we supposed to judge Lot's behavior here? And I hear what you're saying, Golda and Lauren, and I'm assuming that you are saying this in an ironic way. It's not okay. It's not okay. And it's
No,
not,
it's
by
not.
the way,
None of it is
hold on.
okay.
The idea, by the way, even within Jewish law, okay, a woman is not supposed to be forced to marry a man she does not consent to marry. Okay, and this is even biblically. Okay, you don't
Oh
force.
yeah, no. There's
Yeah.
if the Bible, if Torah stopped right there,
Yeah,
we would all be in trouble.
I agree.
We would just
I agree.
seriously be in trouble.
I think so. The question that I'm thinking is, what is the Torah? How does the Torah want us to judge Lot at this point? And we're going to see, by the way, that this is also, remember, Lot is the guy who puts the pasturage of his sheep, right, ahead of where he's living. This point has been made for us
Right.
when he and Abraham part company. And the Torah makes the point that Lot looks out at the plain of Sodom, which at the time had rich pasturage, and that's where he goes. Okay, and it says at the time how wicked the people are of the city of Sodom. We also know from previous sections how Abraham doesn't want a thing from them. He doesn't want to take a single thing from them. Okay, but here is Lot. So we already have some picture of Lot putting, material wealth above values, above spiritual values.
Yeah,
And
he's just not.
and if there's
That's why he doesn't inherit.
correct,
It's why he doesn't inherit from Abraham.
he's not
He's just
worthy. He's
no.
not worthy. But even so, Abraham is kind to him, and I think that is amazing too. By the way, and you'll see that God is kind to him too. All right, so I'm glad we're going into this a little bit, because I think this is so important, is to examine this verse and not just chuck it off and say, what is the Torah trying to teach us here? I don't think in any sense this is behavior that we want to emulate. All right. On the other hand, the idea that when somebody comes into our place, we owe them that protection. That is a good thing. But beyond, the method he's using is terrible.
I also think the reason that God tried to save Lot and his family was because of Abraham's merit.
It does say that. It says that explicitly. It says that explicitly, which is something else, so the Torah is telling us that when we try to act in a meritorious way, it has huge implications beyond ourselves, which is a wonderful, wonderful lesson, because sometimes you feel very, very estranged and lonely in that particular place.
Yeah, but you got to remember that Lot is an alien, and aliens have no power on the city of Sodom. He has no
brilliant.
Okay, well, let's just see.
That's brilliant.
Okay, but remember, we just read a verse that said that he was sitting in the gate of the city, and the interpretation was that they had made him one of their judges, But we're going to see something in a second. Just wait. We're going to see how they react to him. Now, we understand. I mean, when the Torah says he's sitting in the gate of the city, that's what it means. That's what it means. He's acting as a judge. But look at this. Okay, let's go on here. Here we go. Vayomru, and the people said to him, Gesh hala, which I think means go away. Vayomru, and this is what they were saying amongst themselves. Ha'echad ba lagur, this one came to sojourn, right? In other words, the point that Harlan was making, right? Okay, Vayishpot Shafot, and is he going to judge? Now, we just read that they did make him a judge, but the truth is, do people behave in this way? In other words, oh yeah, he's a judge when he's saying things we want him to say, but when he doesn't, if he's really judging with justice, forget about it. What kind of judge is he?
I don't think you did the Rashi for the previous
Did
verse.
Okay, let's take a look. I don't think I did. You're right. Thank you.
We got sidetracked.
We did. I got sidetracked.
Hopefully Rashi's very similar in our thinking.
We'll see.
But I doubt it.
Well, we'll see. No. He's not going to approve of this. He isn't going to judge it. Okay. Ha'el, right? Okay. So when it says these men ha'el, it means ha'ela, these, right? Ki al kain ba'u, because for this reason they came. Ki hatova hazot ta'asulu vodi. Interesting. Okay, he says, do this good thing for me, right? For my honor. Al asher ba'u b'tzel korati, in the fact that they have come under the shadow of my beam, literally, but it means under my roof, right? Turgum. So he's the way Rashi's helping us understand this is the level of appeal that Lot is trying to speak to the people of Sodom. He's hardly acting like a judge. He's asking them. He's saying, please, for whatever honor you have given me, right? Ta'asu lichodi, since I am the one who has accepted, given hospitality to these people, please give me that much honor that you're going to leave them alone, right? And he goes on, Rashi simply says, Tagum bitlal shariti. Okay, so again, I believe this means in the shadow of my, gosh, I think this is like what I have control over, ownership over, responsibility. Targum shel Korah. Korah. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going in the wrong direction here. Let's take a look at the Targum here. Okay, here we are. Bital sheruti. So alkain ta'alu bitlal. Tlal definitely is going to be tsail, all right? Sheruti. I believe sheruti, like sherut in Hebrew, means service, right? In other words, my obligation, I think, all right? And that's what he's saying here. But he's saying Korah, actually, no, he's saying, Rashi's telling me something different. He's saying that the word beam in Aramaic is sheruta. Okay, so that he's simply telling us that is, so maybe Rashi was trying to prevent me from making the mistake that I made. Right.
Well, the beam is a service piece of wood. It's always there to prop up something else.
Correct, but it symbolizes the roof. When we say you've come under the shadow of his roof or something like that, it means
yeah. No, I'm just talking about the word.
Yeah, no, his protection, right? So I think it is. They've come under my protection. So please honor me.
Let me protect them.
Let me do it. Right. Thank you. So I'm afraid I took a little bit of a roundabout course to get what I believe is the correct understanding of it. So we read this verse, right? Right. So let's finish it up. Right. They said, go away. And they said, this one has come to, sojourn, be a temporary visitor, right? He's an outsider. And he's going to judge. He's going to act as a judge. And look at how they are interpreting his pleading with them, and is very respectfully talking to them. They don't care. As long as they're not getting what they want to get, they're going to judge him any way they like. Ata, now, nara lacha mehem, we're going to do worse to you than to them. We're going to treat you even worse. Vayifzaru va'ish, and they urged against the man, Balot. In other words, they were sort of surging against him. Balot in Lot Ma'od, very much. They were trying very much to hang, to get hold of him and destroy him. Vayikshu lishbor hadelet, and they came over to break the door. Okay, I told you we are really doing some tough stuff here. Let's take a look at this. Here's Tet. Vayomru, and they said, Geish hala. Right? And he says, Krav lahala, meaning, oh, so I'm sorry, I said go away, but this looks like it's not. They're saying, come over here. And again, I'm making lots of mistakes today. I don't know why. In my mind, I thought this, but we'll see why.
Well, in Chabad, it says back away.
Right. But, okay, so Krav means to come close, right? And lahala means over there. Okay, which is why I was saying go away. Klomar. So this is, Rashi's going to work at it with us again. Hit karev litz-dadim. So this is why I said go away. In other words, draw near to the side. V'hitrachek mimenu, and get away from us. So now you understand why I translated it the way I did. But normally krav means to go near, to come near, to draw near. Okay? But hala means away. So, Bear with me, right? V'chein kol hala, and Rashi says, and whenever we encounter the word hala, Shebemikra in scripture, lashon richuk, it's away. It has the connotation of going away, right? Somewhere away. Come on. And he gives an example, the Midbar, where Yud Zayin in Numbers chapter 17, it says zrei hala, meaning scatter, and it's referring to coals abroad. Okay. Scatter the coals abroad. And I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. I think this has to do with Korach, but I could be wrong. Okay. So, and then Samuel, first book of Samuel, chapter 20. Hine hachitzi. This is a chapter we're all familiar with. It's got to do with David and Jonathan. And when Jonathan realizes that Saul wants to kill David, it's at the Feast of the New Moon, and they make this arrangement together, the two of them, and how if he shoots the arrow beyond David, it means he needs to get going. He should not come back. So behold, hachitzi mimcha, he's talking to the lad he brought along with him. Jonathan's talking to the lad he brought along with him. He says the arrow is mincha v'hala, is from you and onwards and beyond. So Rashi gives examples. So Geish Hala. So now he's trying to put this together. Geish Hala, draw over there. Hamshech lahalan. In other words, keep going, right? Keep going over there. Belashon las, and he says in Old French, right? Traité de nous, something like that. If you have traité, I think traité is like steps or something like that. From us, I think us, right? Go away from us, step away from us. Okay, here, weicha von uns, that's Yiddish, right? Go get further away from us. So now you know why I was saying this and why I got really caught out when it says krav, draw near, right? So my original translation, go away, maybe makes sense. V'davar nazifahu. It's a way of speaking with anger. Lomar, to say. Ein anu chosheshim lach. In other words, we have, I think here it's saying we could care less about you. Okay, care less about you. In other words, go away. We don't care about you. V'domelo, and it's similar to Isaiah in chapter 65, where it says, Krav elecha, right? Withdraw yourself, al tigashbi, don't come near me. In other words, I don't want to consider you. Okay. V'chein, and likewise Isaiah 49, Gesha li ve'eshava. Okay, so it looks, maybe it's I'm sorry, I thought I knew what this word was, and now I'm having some trouble with it. Lauren, if you have it. But anyway, Geshali means withdraw for my sake. Ashuva, maybe? I don't know. I'll come back. If any one of you have a translation for that, I'm so sorry. Hemshech letztadim.
Yeah, I do have a translation. I was trying to find the Hebrew because I have vowels for most of the Hebrew, but I'm trying to.
Yeah. What's your
the Hebrew was this one Gesha, you said?
Yes, I think
Geshali,
so.
It says Geshali ve'esheva.
Okay.
And it says because the Hebrew's not near the English. Move aside so that I may dwell.
Okay.
Then it says, meaning draw aside for my sake so that I will dwell beside you.
Okay. Let me see if I can put that in there so that next time I'm not confused. There we go. Here we are.
JPS uses stand back.
Okay, either way, it's all good. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so hemshech litzdadim, in other words, go to the side, ba'avori, for my sake, ba'eshev etzlacha. So Rashi's translating this phrase here for us so that I can dwell amongst you. So there it is, Lauren. It's got it right there in the Rashi. Ata, okay, going on. Ata melitz al ha'orchin. You are an intercessor, right? For guests. Ech malach libach. How your heart has filled you, literally is what it means. In other words, who are you to to stand and intercede for your guests? Okay. Al sha'amar lahem al habanot. Okay. And this is what Rashi is saying. Because he said to them regarding his daughters, regarding the girls, Amru lo, for this reason they said to him, Geish hala, meaning go, again, how are we going to translate this, right? Draw over there, Lashon nachat, right? So there, when they said Geish hala, it's so interesting. Rashi here is saying that they were saying this in a comfortable kind of way, right? That the Geish hala wasn't the anger. That wasn't an angry response. Al sha'aya melitz al ha'orchim, but the fact that he was an intercessor for his guests, amru ha'echad balagur. That's why they said ha'echad balagur. So they were happy for the daughters to be handed over the people of Sodom, but they didn't want him interceding for his guests. At least that's what I'm getting out of you. Okay, here we go. More interpolation. Adam nochri yechidi ata. He says, you are a stranger. You're a single stranger. You are beinenu, amongst us. Shebata lagur, that you came to sojourn. Vayishpot shafot, and you are judging, right? V'na'asita mochiach otanu, and now you've become a person to correct us. Adelet, the door. So, okay, somebody needs to mute. Delet hasovevet lin'ol v'liftoach. So we're talking about a door that turns in order to be locked or to be opened, and that's where we're at right now. So I told you that the stuff is not easy, and I'm sorry I was not able to do a cleaner job of some of the translations here. But I did think I had gone over it. Okay, so right up here, and I'm going to stop the share. Okay, I don't know if any of you want to comment at this point, but we're living in also times. I mean, look at what's been happening in our own times, and the disrespect, the incredible disrespect with which people treat other people. I mean, it's just hard to deal with it. And
I think that they pressed against Lot to get to the door, to open it up to get to the three angels. And Lot was pulled in by the angels.
okay, again, Harlan, God bless you. You are anticipating. In the next verse, we're going to read all about that. So just have to be just patient. Yes, the angels.
He's just read it so many times. He knows.
I know, he has. He can't help it. He cannot. Yeah. Okay. He's got lots of good news. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording.